Chosen one. Heaven has pressed pause on everything around you right now, so that your spirit may hear what your ears could never catch on their own. You are not here by accident. The scroll of your life is unfolding, and this moment is the first line of a new chapter. The atmosphere itself bends around you, because God's hand is resting on you in ways you can barely imagine. The world may still see you as ordinary, but the kingdom of heaven knows that you are extraordinary, marked, sealed, and set apart. You have felt it, haven't you? That stirring inside, the whisper that refuses to be silenced. For years you carried it secretly, unsure if it was real, unsure if you were worthy, unsure if you would ever see the day it came to pass. Yet here you are, standing on the edge of tomorrow, with heaven leaning close. Do not brush this off, for this is not coincidence, it is divine appointment. You are not like the rest, and you never were. Beloved, every tear that stained your pillow was seen. Every silent prayer that trembled from your lips was collected in golden bowls in heaven. You thought they were lost in the wind, but heaven never forgets. What looked like silence from God was actually the sound of preparation. While you felt abandoned, angels were arranging your steps. While you doubted, your destiny was being written in fire across eternity. Listen carefully. The very fact that you are here, breathing, listening, receiving, is proof that mercy has not passed you by. There are many who did not survive the storms you walked through, many who carried burdens lighter than yours, and yet they fell. But you, chosen one, you rose again, and not because of your own strength, but because heaven refused to let you be buried in defeat. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4, "Even though I walk through the valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and staff comfort me." This was not just written for David. It was whispered over your own life. Every valley you walked through became a testimony that you were never alone. You feared, yes, but you were never consumed. You stumbled, but you were never destroyed. You wept, but joy did not abandon you forever. This is why tomorrow matters, because the night has dragged long enough. The valley has stretched too far. Heaven has drawn a line and said, "No, further." The sorrow that wrapped around you like a cloak will slip from your shoulders. The shame that tried to brand you will lose its grip. The delays that taunted you will suddenly collapse. For tomorrow does not rise as just another day. It rises as the dawn of your miracle. Hear this clearly. There is no coincidence in timing. Heaven operates in appointed seasons. Seeds do not sprout before their time, and fruit does not ripen in winter. And yet, when God declares acceleration, what should take years is compressed into days. What was scheduled for later is delivered early. That is why the Spirit urges me to tell you, your miracle is arriving sooner than expected. You will see the hand of God move not in a distant season, but in the unfolding of tomorrow. This is not for your ears only, it is for your spirit to rise up and say, "Yes, I receive." Do not shrink back in doubt. Do not silence yourself with questions of how, for the same God who parted seas, the same God who shut the mouths of lions, the same God who caused walls to fall flat with a shout, He has not changed, and He is not finished with you. Chosen one. This is the hour where heaven makes your life a signpost to others. They will look and see that the hand of the Lord rests upon you. They will ask how you survived, And you will answer with one word: grace. They will wonder why doors opened for you. And you will say, favor. They will not understand, but they will not be able to deny. For when God moves, even your enemies must admit it is undeniable. So I say to you now, if this word strikes your spirit, if it echoes in your bones, then mark this moment. Do not let it slip away. Lift your voice in agreement. Declare with your mouth that you are ready for tomorrow's miracle. And as a prophetic act, I call you to respond right now, like this message. Share it, so another chosen one may be awakened. Subscribe, so you do not miss the flow of anointing. And in the comments, type the number 111 as a declaration that you stand aligned with the divine timing of God. This is not ritual. It is response. It is your way of planting a seed of agreement in the soil of heaven. For tomorrow, chosen one, everything changes. From the moment you drew your first breath, you were marked. You may not have known it, and the people around you may not have recognized it, but heaven did. The blueprint of your destiny was etched into eternity long before you walked the earth. While others blended into the crowd, something about you always stood out. You felt it as a child, the quiet awareness that you did not belong entirely to the world around you. There was a separation, not of pride, but of purpose. Perhaps you tried to fit in, to move unnoticed through life. But the weight of your calling made that impossible, even in silence. Your spirit spoke loudly, even in obscurity. You carried a presence that disrupted darkness, and this was no accident. The fingerprint of God was pressed upon your life, and nothing could erase it. Chosen one, you must understand, being marked since birth is not an easy path. It means misunderstanding. It means rejection. It means that those who do not discern the hand of God on you will push you aside, mock you, or even despise you. And yet, what they could not see was that rejection was simply redirection. Their no was heaven's yes. Their dismissal was God's protection. You may remember the loneliness of being different, of wondering why you could not walk where others walked, or settle where others settled. You may have asked, why doors shut in your face? Why friendships dissolved? Why certain opportunities never worked out? But look closer, those were not accidents. Every closed door was heaven guiding you into alignment with your greater purpose. Every detour was preparation for tomorrow's unveiling. It is time you see yourself clearly. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are a chosen vessel, designed with intentionality, destined for impact, wrapped in eternal promise. The world may label you one way, but heaven calls you by another name: beloved, redeemed, anointed, crowned. As the prophet Jeremiah once declared over a people who doubted their worth, Chapter 1, verse 5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. This was not only for a prophet long ago, it is a whisper from eternity over your very soul. You were known before time, and you were set apart before the world had space for you. Think of the moments you nearly lost yourself, the nights you felt invisible, the seasons where hope drained from your heart. Even then, the mark of heaven was upon you. You could not be consumed. You could not be erased. Destiny does not vanish simply because pain visits your life. The seal of God remains unshaken, Consider how many times you were spared from destruction. How many times an unseen hand pulled you back from disaster. How many times you thought you were walking alone. Yet, an invisible presence shielded you. This is the truth of being marked. The same hand that sets you apart also protects you until the appointed hour. Do not despise the uniqueness of your journey. Do not curse the difference that has cost you comfort. Every tear was molding you. Every rejection was purifying you. Every lonely path was teaching you strength that the crowd could never carry. The reason your life could not look like theirs is because your destiny will not look like theirs. Beloved, do not envy the ease of others, for they were not marked the way you are. The weight of your crown requires the weight of preparation. The light you will carry demands the crushing of the oil within you. The glory that will rest on you requires a story that only God could have written. And so, though you have been misunderstood, though you have walked through wildernesses others never knew, though you have wondered if you were cursed, hear this truth now: you were never cursed. You were chosen. And what the enemy tried to twist into shame, God will unveil as glory. It is not enough to know you are marked. You must live as one who is marked. You cannot bow to the idols of convenience or shrink back into the comfort of mediocrity. You cannot dilute your calling to appease those who cannot see what heaven sees. To be chosen is to live set apart, even when it costs you. But the cost will never outweigh the glory. Lift your head. Chosen one. The days of questioning your worth are over. The time of comparing your journey to others is finished. You are walking in a story written by the author of eternity, and the mark upon your life is not a burden, but a sign of inheritance. For though the road is narrow, it leads to a crown that will never fade. Remember this truth as you move forward. You were seen before you were born. You were loved before you could breathe. You were chosen before you could choose Him. And tomorrow, that divine marking will manifest in ways so clear that even your doubters will fall silent. Chosen one. Let us pause and look honestly at the weight you have carried. Many people around you do not know what you have survived. They see your smile, your strength, your ability to keep moving. But they do not see the nights you nearly gave up. They do not see the exhaustion that pressed on your chest like a mountain. They do not know the secret battles you fought in silence. The prayers you whispered in the dark, the moments you felt unseen and unheard. Yet those moments are the very reason heaven calls you chosen. The truth is, God trusted you with pain others could not survive. He allowed you to walk through storms not to break you, but to build within you a resilience that no storm can ever wash away again. Every betrayal, every loss, every season of delay became the very chiseling that shaped your spirit into unshakable strength. What the enemy sent to crush you became the raw material heaven used to crown you. Do you remember the times when you thought you had reached the end? When you whispered, "I can't carry this anymore," yet somehow, something greater than you carried you through. That was not coincidence. That was the evidence of divine strength flowing into your weakness. It was heaven's way of showing you that you were never abandoned. We find in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." This is not simply an inspiring line to be memorized. It is the very testimony of your life. You walked through fire and came out alive. You carried weights that would have broken others, but you still rise. This verse is not only truth, it is your biography written in holy ink. Chosen one. The weight you carried was not wasted. The tears were not wasted. The nights of struggle were not wasted. Each scar has a voice. Each bruise carries a lesson. And each wound has become a doorway for God's light to shine through you. When you stand before others in the future, it will not be your comfort that speaks life to them. It will be your scars. Because scars tell stories that survival is possible. There is a beauty in brokenness that only heaven understands. For a vessel that has been cracked allows more light to shine through. That is why your life radiates in ways you may not even see. You have been cracked. Yes, but never destroyed. And now, those very cracks are becoming channels for glory. Think of how you once despised your battles. You thought they were proof of God's absence. But now, as heaven opens your eyes, you see, they were proof of His trust. For God does not allow heavy battles to rest on weak shoulders. If He allowed it to touch your life, it is because He equipped you to overcome it. The weight you carried was a prophecy of the strength you would one day reveal. And so, instead of mourning the pain of your past, you will soon celebrate it. Because tomorrow's miracle will not erase your scars, it will crown them with purpose. People will see what you carried, and they will glorify the God who never abandoned you. Your story will be a lighthouse to others lost at sea. Chosen one, let this truth sink deep. You are not defined by what hurt you. You are defined by the God who sustained you. Your pain is not your identity, it is your testimony. The weight did not destroy you, it revealed you. And the very fact that you are still here is the undeniable proof that heaven has not finished with you yet. So now, let your heart rise. Let hope return. For the heaviness that marked your yesterday is the reason tomorrow's miracle will carry such glory. Heaven delights in turning burdens into blessings, sorrow into song, ashes into beauty. And this is what is unfolding even now in your life. Beloved, if these words resonate within your spirit, I call you to seal it with a simple act. In the comments below, type, "I overcome." Do not underestimate this prophetic declaration. When you write it, you are not just commenting on a video, you are agreeing with heaven that your past burdens no longer define you. You are declaring aloud that you will not be crushed by yesterday's weight, but that you are rising into tomorrow's miracle. You are putting your name in the story of victory. And when you type those two words, let your spirit know this. You are not speaking about the future, you are speaking about your present reality. You have already overcome more than you realize. The evidence is your survival. And tomorrow, that survival will blossom into undeniable breakthrough. The weight you carried was never wasted. Chosen one. It was the training ground of glory. Chosen one. You may have looked at the delays in your life and assumed they were signs of denial. You wondered why things took so long, why promises seemed far away, why every time you were ready to step forward, another obstacle appeared. You thought perhaps God had overlooked you. Perhaps you were unworthy. Perhaps the dream inside you was just a fantasy. But heaven whispers this truth. The delays were never denials. They were divine preparation. What you endured was not punishment, but process. Just as gold must be refined in fire, just as a seed must be buried in darkness before it can sprout, so too must your destiny be shaped in seasons of hiddenness. The world may not have seen you, but heaven was shaping you in secret. The silence you walked through was not emptiness, it was construction. Heaven was building foundations deep within you that would sustain the weight of the miracle you are about to carry. Chosen one, think of the years that felt wasted, they were not wasted at all. They were the stretching of your roots so that your fruit could endure. Had the miracle arrived too early, you would not have been ready. You would have tried to hold glory with weak hands, and it would have slipped away. But heaven is too wise to give you something before you can sustain it. That is why you waited. That is why you were delayed. Not to rob you, but to prepare you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 27, verse 14, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and take heart, and wait for the Lord." This is not idle waiting, not empty, standing still. It is the kind of waiting that builds strength, that molds courage, that prepares a vessel for what it is destined to carry. Look back now, and you will see the fingerprints of heaven all over your waiting. The disappointments that broke you also taught you resilience. The unanswered prayers trained you to trust when you could not see. The closed doors refined your discernment so you would not walk into what would destroy you. The waiting itself became your greatest teacher. Consider Joseph, who was shown visions of greatness, yet was thrown into a pit, sold as a slave, and imprisoned unjustly. From the outside, it looked like delay. From heaven's perspective, it was preparation. Each stage of his journey was equipping him with wisdom, humility, and endurance. And when his miracle came, he was not just ready for it, he was transformed by it. So it is with you, beloved. The places you thought were setbacks were actually training grounds. The people who left you were not mistakes, they were necessary exits so that you would lean fully on God. The seasons where nothing seemed to move forward were the seasons where roots grew deep. Do not despise the years of obscurity. They built in you the character that glory requires. Do not curse the nights of unanswered questions. They gave you a voice of authenticity that others cannot ignore. Do not regret the long roads. They are proof that heaven loves you enough to prepare you for the weight of your assignment. Chosen one. Divine preparation always takes longer than you think it should. But when the moment comes, acceleration makes up for the years. What seemed delayed suddenly feels early. What you thought would never come suddenly arrives tomorrow. That is why you stand now at the edge of transformation. The years of silence were not wasted. They were storing up power for this release. You may ask, why me? Why such a long road? Because the crown you are meant to carry is heavy. The light you are meant to bear is bright, and heaven refuses to let it crush you. That is why the process took so long. That is why the training was hidden. God was not ignoring you, He was equipping you. And now, chosen one, you will see that every moment of waiting was worth it. You will discover that what felt like lost time was simply time being redeemed for greater glory. When tomorrow's miracle arrives, you will not just receive it, you will be ready to carry it with wisdom, humility, and strength. Hold this truth close. Delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean absence. Waiting does not mean abandonment. It means heaven is working behind the curtain, building what you cannot yet see. And when the curtain lifts, everything will make sense in a single moment. So stand firm. Beloved, the season of preparation is ending, and the season of unveiling has come. The miracle is no longer distant. It is stepping onto the stage of your life. And when it does, you will realize that every delay was actually grace. Chosen one. Do you know why the battles against you were so fierce? It was never because you were weak, but because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. The enemy saw your light long before you did. He recognized that when you awaken fully, chains will break around you and others will be set free. That is why the opposition has been relentless, because your rising terrifies him. The truth is this: darkness never wastes its weapons on those who pose no threat. You have felt targeted, singled out, even cursed. But what you call attack is actually evidence of your assignment. Just as a lion roars to intimidate prey, it fears. The enemy has tried to roar against you to shake your faith. But what he does not realize is that every roar only trained your spirit to roar louder. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. This verse is not just a promise, it is a declaration of your identity. You were not made to cower before shadows. You were created to shine with a flame that no darkness can extinguish. Beloved, the very areas where you were attacked are the same areas where you will bring freedom to others. The rejection you endured will become the platform for your acceptance by heaven. The heartbreak you carried will become the testimony that heals broken hearts. The storms you survived will make you a shelter for those still in the storm. Every wound becomes a weapon in the hands of God. And now, chosen one, you stand at a turning point. The enemy tried to end your story, but God has flipped the script. Your tomorrow is not defeat, it is breakthrough. Your rising will echo like dawn across the earth, scattering shadows that once surrounded you. But hear this: you are not meant to walk this journey alone. Just as soldiers in battle march side by side, covering one another, so too must you walk in unity with those who are awakened by the same light. That is why I ask you with sincerity, if this word stirs your heart, do not keep it to yourself. Share it, like one who passes a torch into another's hand. Shine the flame farther. Someone else is waiting in the dark for the light you now carry. And if this flow of truth has touched your soul, if it has strengthened you when you felt weary, I humbly invite you to help sustain this voice. Imagine a well that many drink from. A well must be cared for, kept clean, and guarded so the water flows freely. In the same way, these messages are a spiritual well. By supporting, by giving even a little, you help ensure that the water of life continues to pour forth to every thirsty soul who stumbles here. If you feel led, consider sowing into this mission, not as payment, but as partnership. Your like is not just a click, it is a spark of agreement. Your share is not just a button, it is a ripple that may reach a heart hanging by a thread. Your subscription is not just a number, it is a soldier standing in line, saying, I march with you. And your gift, your donation, is not money lost. It is seed planted into the soil of eternity, bearing fruit you may never fully see until heaven itself. Chosen one. When you support, you are not giving to a person, you are fueling a mission. You are helping lift the voice of truth higher so that more can hear it. More can be saved. More can be awakened. Do it not from pressure, but from revelation. For giving is not subtraction, it is multiplication. The same way a seed leaves your hand but returns as a harvest. So I say to you gently, if this message has been oil to your wounds, if it has reminded you of your identity, then walk with me in this. Light the flame, Father. Sow into this ground, and know that in heaven's record, your act will echo louder than you imagine. For now, remember this: You are feared not because you are weak, but because you are chosen. The enemy roared because he saw your crown before you did. But tomorrow, the roar of heaven will silence every threat, and your light, chosen one, will shine unhindered. Chosen one, lean in closely now, for the whispers of tomorrow are already stirring in the atmosphere around you. What looks like ordinary hours on a clock are not ordinary at all. They are prophetic markers, ticking toward a shift you cannot yet see with your natural eyes. Your miracle is not waiting in some faraway land. It is already walking toward you, dispatched by heaven, set on a collision course with your life. Do you feel it? That sense in your spirit that something is about to break open? It is not imagination. It is not coincidence. It is heaven letting you taste the fragrance of a dawn that has not yet risen. The air feels heavier because the spiritual atmosphere is pregnant with what has been promised. The delay is finished. The delivery is near. Beloved, the moment before breakthrough often feels the most chaotic. Just before light pierces, the night grows darker. Just before a seed breaks open, the soil feels heavier. And just before a miracle bursts forth, life feels almost unbearable. That is because heaven's timetable is colliding with earth's reality. The pressure you feel is not to crush you, but to birth what was promised. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." This was not only for a people long ago, it is for you now. Your appointed time is not someday far off. It is breaking into your tomorrow. Chosen one, your miracle has already left heaven's storehouse. The angels have carried it into motion. The alignment of events that looked accidental were actually orchestration. Heaven has been weaving threads in the unseen, pulling people into place, shifting circumstances behind the curtain, and at the appointed hour, the curtain lifts, and everything changes in a single moment. But you must not miss this truth. Tomorrow is not simply about receiving a blessing. It is about stepping into alignment. Miracles are not just dropped from the sky, they meet you on the path of obedience, the same way the Israelites had to step forward before the Red Sea parted. You too must position your heart, your faith, your obedience to meet the miracle already in motion. This is why heaven presses on your spirit now, because if you remain in doubt, if you shrink back in fear, you may fail to see what is arriving, not because it was not given, but because your eyes were closed when it came. That is why your ears are being opened today, why your heart is being stirred. Heaven does not want you to miss the arrival. Imagine this. Beloved, tomorrow is like a sunrise. You cannot stop it. You cannot delay it. You cannot rush it. It will rise when its appointed hour comes. And when it does, no darkness can argue against it. Your miracle is the same. It has been timed, sealed, and guaranteed by heaven. And now, the horizon is glowing. Do not be deceived by the voice of the enemy that tells you it will never happen. That voice is loudest right before fulfillment. He whispers despair because he knows hope is about to be proven true. He speaks lies because truth is about to roar. Chosen one, silence those whispers with your faith. Remind your soul that what God promises, He performs. Your role is not to create the miracle, it is to recognize it and step into it. That means lifting your eyes from the valley standing firm even when you feel weak, and choosing to believe that tomorrow is not like yesterday. The heavens have shifted, the page has turned, the script has changed. And so, beloved, if your heart believes this word, I ask you to mark this moment with a prophetic act. In the comments, type the number 444. Let it be your seal of agreement with heaven's timing, not as superstition, but as a declaration that you are aligned with the appointed hour. Every time you see that number, let it remind you that the revelation may have lingered, but it will not delay any longer. When you type it, you are telling your own soul, I choose to believe. I choose to wait with expectation. I choose to step into alignment. This is not ritual. It is agreement. It is how you anchor faith in a world full of distractions. Chosen one. Tomorrow's whispers are louder than yesterday's cries. Lift your spirit, for dawn is breaking. The miracle is not waiting for years. It is arriving early, and when it does, you will say with tears in your eyes, it was worth every night, worth every prayer, worth every season of waiting. Chosen one. The night has tried to linger over your life for too long. Shadows whispered that they owned you. Chains tightened around your soul, and heaviness made you question if light would ever return. Yet even in the deepest night, heaven was writing a decree: dawn must come. You were never meant to live beneath the grip of darkness forever. Every chain forged against you is about to break by the rising of tomorrow's sun. The night was loud, wasn't it? It filled your mind with accusations. It told you that you were forgotten, that nothing would change, that your prayers were wasted breath. The night has a way of magnifying fear, echoing doubts, and stretching silence until it feels eternal. But hear me now, night is not eternal. Darkness has no authority to last forever. It is only permitted for a season, and every season has an end. Chosen one. Your end of night has come. The rising dawn is not just about the shift of hours on a clock. It is about the breaking of chains in the spiritual realm. The depression that sat heavy on your chest is losing its grip. The fear that paralyzed your decisions is dissolving. The cycles that repeated year after year are fracturing under the power of heaven's decree, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. These words are not theory. They are reality. Freedom is not a concept you hope for. It is a chain snapping, a door opening, a shackle falling. And tomorrow's dawn is carrying that freedom into your life in ways undeniable. Beloved, do not underestimate what chains you carried. Some were visible habits, addictions, toxic relationships. Others were invisible mindsets, fears, secret wounds you carried silently, but all of them weighed your soul, pulling you down, convincing you that light was too far away. Yet the very fact that you are still breathing means darkness did not win. The very fact that you are here means the chains did not have the final word. Think of Israel in Egypt, laboring under the weight of slavery for generations. Their cries filled the night, and for a while it seemed as if God was silent. But then, in one moment, the command was given, "Let my people go." Chains that lasted for centuries fell in a single night. So it will be for you. What lasted years can break in a moment when heaven declares, "Enough." End. The breaking of night is not always gentle. Sometimes it comes with trembling, with shaking, with the collapse of everything that tried to hold you bound. You may feel unsettled as the chains shatter, because freedom often feels unfamiliar at first. But do not confuse discomfort with defeat. The shaking is simply the prison falling apart around you. Chosen one. Tomorrow's light will not only break your chains, it will expose the lies of darkness. You will look back and wonder why you ever believed them. You will see how small the enemy truly was, how powerless the shadows are against true light. What felt overwhelming will suddenly seem laughable, because light makes clear what darkness distorts. And hear this: when your chains break, it is not just for you. Your freedom will ripple outward. Those who watched you suffer will witness your rising. Those who mocked your prayers will stand silent when your testimony shines. And those who walk in their own chains will find hope because they saw you walk free. You are not just a survivor of the night. You are a herald of the dawn. Beloved, this is why the night fought so hard to keep you. It knew that if you ever saw the sunrise, you would become dangerous. It knew that if your chains fell, you would help others break theirs. It feared your freedom because your freedom will multiply. But the enemy has already lost. Dawn is breaking, and with it, every prison door is swinging wide open. So let peace return to your heart. The hours of torment are closing. The whispers of fear are fading. The light of tomorrow is stretching across your horizon, and nothing can stop it. For when heaven says, break, no chain can hold, no night can linger, no shadow can remain. Chosen one, breathe deeply now. This is the last night you will ever face in this form. Tomorrow carries a sunrise you cannot stop, and with it, the sound of chains shattering into dust. Chosen one. Everything can shift in one sudden moment. For years, it may have felt as though you were walking in circles, carrying the same questions, facing the same struggles, wondering when the season would turn. You tried to measure progress with human eyes, and all you saw was delay. Yet heaven never lost sight of the script. What looks like stagnation to man is often acceleration hidden within silence. And when God decides to flip the script, it does not take months. It does not take years. It happens in an instant. This is the essence of a prophetic shift. The atmosphere rearranges, the unseen aligns, and what felt immovable suddenly gives way. It is like watching a river change course in a single night, or seeing a barren tree bloom overnight. The moment comes quietly, yet its effect is thunderous. Life is never the same again. Chosen one. Understand this. God does not need permission from circumstances to move. He does not need approval from people to bless you. He does not wait for conditions to look favorable before he acts. When heaven speaks, creation bends. When he decides, every obstacle must bow. That is why tomorrow cannot be stopped. The shift is already written. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 13. Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. These words were spoken to a people trapped between a sea and an army. They saw no escape. Yet, in a moment, the script flipped. Seas split. Paths opened. Enemies drowned. Deliverance came not by strategy, but by decree. So it is with you. For so long, you have felt pressed between impossibilities. You could not go back, and you could not go forward. Fear stood on one side, barriers on the other. Yet tomorrow holds a decree that will split your sea. What you thought impossible will suddenly become your only option. What you never imagined possible will become the very path you walk upon. Chosen one. The shift is not simply external. It is also within you. The doubts that once controlled your decisions will lose their authority. The fear that dictated your steps will no longer hold the reins. The clarity you once begged for will flood your mind like morning sun flooding a dark room. You will sense yourself thinking differently, walking differently, speaking differently. Because when heaven flips the script, it does not just change circumstances, it transforms you. Do not despise the waiting that preceded this moment. Every delay has been leading you here. Had the shift come earlier, you might not have been ready to recognize it. But now, after everything you have endured, your eyes are sharpened, your faith is seasoned, your heart is prepared. You will not miss what is coming, because you were trained by the wilderness to recognize the sound of deliverance. Beloved, the prophetic shift also means this: people who once dismissed you will see you differently. Those who thought nothing of you will be forced to acknowledge the hand of God on your life. This is not about pride or revenge, it is about testimony. When heaven elevates you, it becomes undeniable evidence of divine power. What they ignored, they will now honor not because of you, but because of the God who writes your story. Think of Joseph, forgotten in prison, invisible to those in power. One moment he was bound, the next he was summoned. In a single day, the script flipped, and he moved from prisoner to ruler. That is the nature of a prophetic shift. It does not follow human timelines. It bypasses them entirely. Chosen one. Prepare your heart, for the suddenness may surprise you. Do not cling too tightly to what was, for it will be stripped away in order to make space for what is coming. The old chapter is closing abruptly, not because of loss, but because a new chapter demands the page to turn. When God flips the script, He leaves no trace of the old chains. He writes in bold strokes of grace and destiny. He takes what the enemy meant for evil and bends it toward glory. He takes the tears that fell in silence and weaves them into songs of deliverance. He takes the wilderness that seemed endless and turns it into the doorway of promise. Chosen one. You will look back and barely recognize the person you once were. The shift will be that dramatic. What you thought would always define you will be erased. What you thought would never change will transform. What you thought would crush you will become the very proof that God sustains you. This is not imagination. This is not wishful thinking. This is the nature of a prophetic God. He moves suddenly. He acts decisively. He writes stories that no human hand could author, and your life, beloved, is about to become one of those stories. Stand ready, for tomorrow is not a continuation of yesterday. It is a holy interruption. It is the moment when the pen of heaven writes a new line, and everything changes. Chosen one, there is a crown prepared for you, but heaven will never force it onto your head. Crowns are not stumbled upon by accident. They are chosen. You must decide to wear it. You must stand in obedience and claim what heaven has already marked as yours. For every chosen one comes to this crossroad. Will you shrink back into the comfort of old patterns? Or will you step forward into the royal identity written for you? The crown is not made of gold and jewels alone. It is made of surrender. It is forged in obedience, polished by humility, and secured by faith. To wear it is to accept that your life is not your own, that your steps are directed by heaven's voice, that your will bows before the King who chose you. Chosen one. Obedience is never easy. It means laying aside your fears, silencing the whispers of doubt, and walking forward even when you cannot see the ground beneath your feet. It means trusting that the God who calls you is also the God who equips you. Many are called, but only the obedient are crowned. Chosen one. Obedience may feel like stepping into the unknown, but the unknown is simply ground God has already prepared for you. Think of it as a bridge hidden in the mist, though you cannot see it from a distance. Each step reveals more solid footing. Heaven does not demand blind courage. It invites trusting surrender, and with every step of obedience, you prove that faith is stronger than fear. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 33, walk in obedience to all the Lord commands, so you may live and prosper and prolong your days in the land you possess. This is the divine equation. Obedience unlocks possession. Without obedience, the promise remains distant. With obedience, the crown rests firmly on your head. Think of Saul, who was chosen yet lost his crown because he valued the opinion of people over the command of God. Then think of David, who, though flawed, was called a man after God's own heart because he placed obedience above convenience. The difference between the two was not strength, not talent, not intelligence. It was obedience. Chosen one. Your crown awaits, but it cannot rest on hesitation. You have survived too much, carried too much, overcome too much to stop here. Heaven has invested years of preparation into your life for this very moment. To shrink back now would be to waste the testimony forged in your trials. To obey now is to step into the fullness of destiny. Do not say, I am not ready. Heaven would not offer the crown if you were not. Do not say, what if I fail? You will stumble. Yes, but stumbling in obedience is safer than standing still in rebellion. Do not say, the price is too high. The price of disobedience is far higher. It costs you your inheritance. Beloved, obedience is not perfection. It is saying yes, even when your voice trembles. It is choosing to trust when logic screams otherwise. It is surrendering your plan so that His plan may unfold, and every time you obey, you step closer to the throne written in your story. The crown does not only represent honor, it represents responsibility. To wear it is to shine light for others, to carry burdens beyond your own, to lead with compassion, to fight with courage. That is why the enemy has tried so hard to convince you to disqualify yourself. He fears the moment you rise in obedience, because he knows that once the crown rests upon your head, his chains lose all power over you. Chosen one. Tomorrow is not just the day of your miracle, it is the day of your decision. Heaven is holding out the crown, but only you can choose to place it upon your head. Will you obey? Will you rise? Will you walk forward into destiny, even when fear claws at your heels? This is the moment to seal your answer. If your spirit says yes, then write it boldly as a declaration. In the comments, type, I choose. Do not underestimate these two words. They are more than letters on a screen. They are a covenant. They are your way of aligning your heart with heaven's invitation. When you type them, You are saying to yourself, I will no longer delay. I will no longer let fear decide for me. I choose my crown. I choose obedience. I choose destiny. And heaven will see. Heaven will record. Heaven will move. For the crown is ready. Chosen one. And it belongs on your head. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the old season simply cannot hold you anymore. Like a cocoon stretched thin around a butterfly ready to emerge. Or like a wineskin that can no longer carry fresh wine. The old has reached its expiration. You feel it in your spirit, the discomfort, the restlessness, the sense that you do not fit where you used to fit. This is not failure, it is transformation. Tomorrow is the threshold where you step out of what was and into what is new. Do not mistake nostalgia for belonging. The past may call your name, but it cannot carry you into your future. The season you are leaving has already poured into you everything it was meant to. To cling to it would be like trying to drink from an empty well, hoping for water that is no longer there. God is saying, you cannot go back. Beloved, stepping into the new requires courage. It means walking away from familiar chains, familiar mindsets, familiar patterns, even familiar people at times. Just as Abraham was called to leave his father's house and go to a land he had never seen, so too are you being called to leave behind what no longer serves your destiny. And though it feels risky, it is actually the safest path, for the hand of God goes with you. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 27, Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, not as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. This is the promise that covers you as you walk forward. The world may shake, the old may fall away, but peace becomes your compass into the unknown. Chosen one. Picture yourself standing at the shoreline of a vast ocean. Behind you is dry land, familiar and safe, but limited. Before you stretches a horizon of endless waters, shimmering with possibility. The ship is ready. The sails are raised. And heaven whispers, step aboard. If you turn back, you will never know what treasures lie across the waves. But if you step forward, though storms may come, you will discover lands more beautiful than you ever dreamed. This journey is not just about you. Others are watching your steps. Your obedience will give them courage to move. Your breakthrough will become their roadmap. And so, even your willingness to let go of the old is an act of service to those destined to follow after you. Beloved, at this point, I must speak to your heart in sincerity. Messages like these are more than words. They are oil poured into your spirit. Water for thirsty souls. If these words have touched you, encouraged you, or reminded you of who you are, then I ask you to help keep this well flowing. Imagine a lighthouse on the edge of the sea. It shines for all who are lost in the dark, but it requires oil to keep burning. Without oil, its light fades. In the same way, this space where heaven's voice reaches you depends on the partnership of those who believe in the mission. Your like is not just approval, it is fuel, telling the algorithms to spread the light farther. Your share is not just convenience, it is like throwing a lifeline to someone drowning. Someone you may never meet, but whose life may be saved. Your subscription is not just a number, it is your way of saying, I will keep walking with this family of light. And if your heart feels stirred to go deeper, your donation is not loss, it is seed. a seed that will grow into more voices awakened, more chains broken, more lives transformed. Think of a farmer who plants into good soil. The seed leaves his hand, but it never leaves his future. It multiplies, returning in harvest far greater than what was sown. That is the mystery of giving. You release what seems small, but heaven breathes on it, and it becomes abundant. Chosen one, if you have been fed by this table, consider also becoming part of setting the table for others. Do it not out of pressure, but out of revelation that you are investing in eternity. The oil in the lamp does not just burn for you, it burns for every lost soul still wandering in the night. Now, return to this truth. The old is behind you. Do not look back. Do not shrink into yesterday's patterns. Tomorrow's dawn is not a continuation, it is a crossing over, and when you step into it, the peace of God will guard your heart. The light of God will guide your steps, and the favor of God will rest on your head like a crown. Chosen one. The season has expired. The ship is ready. The sails are raised. Step aboard, there is no turning back. Chosen one. There is a mystery hidden in your story. What was once concealed is about to be revealed. For so long, it seemed as if your life was buried under layers of silence, as if no one noticed the faith you carried, as if heaven itself had hidden the evidence of your calling. Yet concealment was never rejection. It was protection. Heaven hid you not to punish you, but to preserve you until the appointed unveiling. Think of a seed buried in the soil. For months, it appears forgotten. No eyes can see it. No hands can touch it. No voice praises its progress. Yet beneath the soil, life is forming. Roots push downward. Strength grows in silence, until the day comes when the seed bursts forth and astonishes the world with what was hidden all along. You are that seed. Chosen one. Hidden. Yes. Forgotten. Never. The time of unveiling is now at hand. The season where heaven lifts the curtain has arrived. You will see doors open that were once sealed. You will hear your name spoken in places you never imagined. The gifts that you carried in secret will be brought into light, not because you demanded recognition, but because heaven has chosen the hour. It was proclaimed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. These words are not a poetic dream, they are a command to your spirit. Your light is not on the way, it has come. What was hidden within you is now rising to the surface, and the glory of God is about to make it visible to all. Chosen one, do not underestimate what has been hidden in you. The world may have overlooked your persistence, your faith, your sacrifices, your tears, but God has seen every act of obedience, every secret prayer, every choice to keep going when you wanted to quit. And now, like treasure buried deep in the earth, all of it will be revealed at the right moment. This unveiling will not only surprise others, it will surprise you. You will discover strength you did not know you carried. You will hear your own voice with new authority. You will walk in doors you thought belonged to others. And you will realize that what was silent within you has been shouting in heaven all along. Beloved, the unveiling of favor is not for vanity, but for testimony. When people see your rising, they will ask, "How did this happen?" And your answer will not be self-glory, but divine glory. You will say, "It was the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes." Your life will become a living witness that God exalts the humble, that He lifts the lowly, that He honors those who wait upon Him. Consider Joseph again, who wore the coat of many colors. His gift of dreams was hidden for years under betrayal, slavery, and prison to the world. He was forgotten, yet in a single day, the unveiling came, and Pharaoh himself said, "We cannot find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God." That is the power of unveiling. What was ignored yesterday becomes undeniable today. Chosen one, prepare your heart for the weight of this unveiling. It is not simply about opportunity, it is about responsibility. Favor attracts attention, and attention draws both admirers and critics. Do not let the opinions of people shake you. Remember, the same God who unveiled you will also sustain you. Do not seek to defend yourself. Your fruit will speak louder than any accusation. This season calls you to walk in humility, even as favor lifts you high. A crown on your head is not for decoration, it is for service. A light upon your life is not for your own comfort, it is to guide others who still wander in darkness. What heaven reveals in you is meant to bless not just your house, but many others. Beloved, let go of the fear that held you back in the season of hiding. The curtain is rising, the spotlight of heaven is shining, and what you thought would remain unseen forever will soon be a testimony that cannot be ignored. You are stepping into the unveiling of favor, and the whole earth will see that you were chosen all along. Chosen one. Heaven has declared acceleration over your life. What should have taken decades will be compressed into days. What seemed unreachable will suddenly be placed within your hands. You have walked through years of testing, but now you will walk into seasons of rapid unfolding. This is the divine paradox. The longer the preparation, the swifter the manifestation. You have endured the long nights, and now morning is rushing toward you faster than you can imagine. Acceleration is not simply about speed, it is about alignment. When heaven's timing collides with your readiness, momentum multiplies. Doors that once creaked open slowly will now swing wide with ease. Opportunities that once required endless striving will appear as divine appointments. Relationships that once drained, you will be replaced with those who pour life into you. The pace of your life will shift, not because of your effort, but because heaven has pressed the accelerator, as was written in the ancient words of Amos, chapter 9, verse 13, "The days are coming, declares the Lord, when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman and the planter by the one treading grapes. New wine will drip from the mountains and flow from all the hills." This is the vision of acceleration harvest, overtaking seed. Blessings, chasing, obedience. Favor multiplying beyond your ability to contain. Chosen one. Your years of sowing are about to collide with a season of harvest, so overwhelming that it will leave you in awe. Every tear you sowed in the night will return as joy in the morning. Every prayer whispered into silence will echo back as fulfillment. Every act of faith that seemed unnoticed has been stored in heaven's treasury. And now the vault is opening. Do not be surprised if life feels like it suddenly leaps forward. It may seem unnatural at first, even disorienting, because you are used to waiting, striving, pressing. But the same God who lengthened your season of preparation is now shortening your season of manifestation. What once crawled will now run. What once lagged will now leap. Think of Elijah when he outran the king's chariots. By natural strength, it was impossible. But when the hand of the Lord came upon him, acceleration became his portion. That same hand is about to rest upon you. Chosen one, what others toil for over years, you will receive in days, not because you are better, but because you are chosen, not because you strive harder, but because grace runs swifter. Beloved, this is not to say you will not still face resistance. Acceleration often provokes opposition, for the enemy fears rapid progress. But no weapon formed against you will prosper, because heaven's speed cannot be stopped by hell's schemes. The force of your forward motion is not your own. It is carried by the breath of God. This season will teach you to trust differently. Before, you trusted God for endurance. Now, you must trust Him for pace. Acceleration requires discernment when doors fly open quickly. You must listen for His voice to know which ones to step through. When blessings multiply, you must steward them wisely so they do not slip away. When your influence expands, you must root yourself even deeper in humility. For acceleration without grounding leads to collapse, but acceleration anchored in God leads to glory. Chosen one. Imagine a river after heavy rain. The current grows stronger, carrying everything swiftly downstream. If you resist, you will exhaust yourself. But if you yield, the river will carry you farther than you could ever swim on your own. This is acceleration, yielding to heaven's current, letting it sweep you into places you could never reach by striving alone. You are stepping into this current now. Do not fear it. Flow with it. Trust that heaven has measured the pace and prepared your heart. What felt stuck for years is now moving. What was locked is opening. What was delayed is arriving early. And so, beloved, if your spirit agrees with this word, I call you to mark it in the comments. Type the number 555 as your declaration, not as a ritual, but as a prophetic sign that you are ready to move with heaven's acceleration. Let it be your reminder that grace is multiplying, doors are opening, and the season of swift fulfillment has begun. When you type it, see it as planting a flag in the ground of your faith. I am ready to be carried by the current of heaven. I will not resist. I will flow. I will rise. Chosen one. Your season of acceleration is not coming. It has already begun. Chosen one. There is a roar rising within you that cannot be silenced. It is not the roar of human anger, nor the cry of frustration, but the holy sound of authority awakened in your spirit. For too long, the enemy has tried to muzzle your voice, convincing you that you were weak, unworthy, or unseen. But heaven has placed within you a decree, and when you release it, it shakes the foundations of darkness. From the very beginning, your voice was designed to carry weight in the spiritual realm. Words are not mere vibrations in the air, they are carriers of power. When you speak in alignment with heaven, chains tremble, doors open, and strongholds collapse. That is why your voice has been under attack. The enemy feared what would happen the day you discovered that your words carry the authority of heaven itself. As the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 13, it is written, I believed, therefore I have spoken. Since we have that same spirit of faith, we also believe and therefore speak. This is the mystery of the roar. You do not speak because you see. You speak because you believe. And what you believe spoken aloud, becomes reality in the unseen before it manifests in the seen. Chosen one, your roar is not noise, it is declaration. It is prophecy. It is warfare. When lions roar in the wild, they establish territory. They warn intruders. They call their pride to attention. In the same way, when you roar in the spirit, you are claiming ground, silencing enemies, and awakening others who belong to your tribe. You may not realize it yet, but your words have already shifted atmospheres. Think of the prayers you whispered in desperation. Even when you felt small and unheard, heaven recorded every syllable. Each one was stored like arrows in a quiver. And now the time has come for their release. Those prayers are not forgotten. They are roaring back into your life with answers. Beloved, the roar within you is not meant to stay hidden. Silence may feel safe, but it was never your destiny. You are not a whisper, you are a trumpet. You are not an echo, you are a voice. And tomorrow, when your miracle arrives, it will amplify your roar all the more. For miracles are not just for comfort, they are for testimony. Your testimony will roar louder than your pain ever did. Think of Elijah on Mount Carmel, standing against hundreds of false prophets. He could have whispered, but he chose to roar with faith, calling upon the God of fire. And heaven responded with flames that consumed everything in sight. Your roar, chosen one, is not empty. It is a call that heaven answers. Do not be afraid of the sound rising within you. It may feel strange at first to declare boldly when your circumstances still look unchanged. But this is how faith operates. The roar comes before the victory is visible. The shout of praise rises before the walls fall. The decree is spoken before the breakthrough manifests. And yet, once released, it sets heaven's will into motion. Beloved, there is also a responsibility that comes with this roar. You must guard your tongue, for the same mouth that blesses can also curse. Do not waste your roar on bitterness, complaint, or fear. Let your words align with life, with hope, with truth. Let them be sharp like swords, but also healing like balm, for you carry both authority and responsibility in every syllable you release. Chosen one, your roar will also awaken others. There are many who have been lulled to sleep by despair, who have forgotten their own authority. When they hear your voice rising, something in them will stir. They will remember they, too, were chosen. They will find courage again because you dared to roar first. This is how revival spreads not only through pulpits, but through every chosen one who dares to speak. And so, prepare yourself. Tomorrow is not just the dawn of your miracle, it is the day your voice changes forever. When chains fall, you will roar freedom. When favor unveils, you will roar gratitude. When acceleration overtakes you, you will roar testimony. And each roar will echo farther than you can imagine, reaching hearts you will never meet, breaking strongholds you will never see. Chosen one, heaven has waited for this sound. Creation itself has been groaning, waiting for the sons and daughters of God to rise and release their decree. That groan will now become a roar through you. And when it does, the earth will know. Light has spoken, and darkness cannot answer back. The roar within you is not coming. It is here, and it will only grow louder. Chosen one, Do you realize how carefully heaven has guarded what belongs to you? Many times you thought you had lost everything, that the blessings meant for you had been stolen, delayed, or denied. You saw others prosper while you were left waiting, and you wondered if somehow your inheritance had slipped through your hands. But hear this clearly: what is written for you cannot be erased. What is promised to you cannot be stolen. Angels themselves have been stationed as guardians over your destiny. The unseen world is far more active than you imagine. While you wept, angels were fighting on your behalf. While you doubted, heavenly warriors stood. Watch over your promise. You may not have seen their swords or heard their voices, but their presence was real. They formed a shield around your destiny, ensuring that nothing, no curse, no thief, no scheme of darkness could take what was reserved for you. The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 91, verse 11 remind us, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This is not poetic metaphor, it is reality. The unseen protection of heaven has been around you every step of the journey. You are here today not only because of your strength, but because angels carried you when you could not stand. Chosen one, understand this: the blessings marked with your name are untouchable. Others may imitate, but they cannot duplicate what is sealed for you. The enemy may try to delay, but he cannot deny. Even when it looked like opportunities were lost, heaven preserved the ones meant for you. The treasures assigned to your path are guarded until you are ready to hold them. Think of Daniel, who prayed for understanding for 21 days. No answer came. He felt ignored, unheard, abandoned. But when the angel finally arrived, he said, "From the first day you prayed, your words were heard, but I was resisted in the heavens." The delay was not denial, it was warfare. And while Daniel could not see the battle, heaven was fighting for him the entire time. So it has been with you. Every unanswered prayer was not silence, it was struggle in the unseen. Every delay was not rejection, it was protection, while angels cleared the way. And every moment you thought heaven was still, in truth, the armies of God were working on your behalf. Beloved, your promise has been fiercely guarded because of its weight. Not every gift requires such protection, but yours does. You are not being entrusted with scraps, you are being entrusted with treasure. You are not being handed trinkets, you are being crowned with inheritance. The higher the calling, the stronger the warfare, and the greater the angelic guard around it. This is why some doors would not open when you pushed. Not because heaven was cruel, but because it refused to let you walk into traps disguised as opportunities. This is why some relationships ended painfully, not because you were unworthy of love, but because heaven refused to let you be bound to those who would sabotage your crown. Every loss was actually protection. Every no was actually a shield. Chosen one. Tomorrow's miracle will reveal just how much heaven has guarded you. You will see doors open that no enemy could shut. You will watch provision arrive that no thief could steal. You will step into opportunities that were preserved for this very hour. And when you look back, you will realize that you did not survive by luck. You survived because you were guarded. This guarding was not only external, it was also internal. Heaven preserved your mind when despair tried to fracture it. Heaven preserved your faith when doubt tried to consume it. Heaven preserved your hope when the weight of disappointment threatened to bury it. The very fact that you are still able to believe, still able to expect, is proof that your spirit has been shielded by something greater than human strength. Beloved, the guarding of your promise also means this: you are not entering tomorrow empty-handed. You are entering with everything preserved. Nothing essential has been lost. Even the seasons you thought were wasted have been stored as testimony. The blessings you thought were stolen are being returned with interest. The years the enemy tried to devour are being restored. The guarded promise is not fragile. It has survived fire, flood, and famine. It has outlasted the weapons of darkness. It has endured the long wait, and now it is ready to be placed into your hands. Tomorrow, when you step forward, you will carry not only your promise, but the proof that heaven protects its own. So lift your head, chosen one. You are not abandoned. You are protected. You are not empty. You are preserved. And you are not forgotten. You are guarded by angels who move at the command of the Most High. The guarded promise is about to be unveiled, and it will testify that you were chosen all along. Chosen one. The time has come when your story is no longer just your story, it is a testimony written for many. What you endured in secret will now serve as a beacon for those still walking in silence. The struggles you survived, the chains that fell, the valleys you crossed, none of it was wasted. Every page of your journey has been preparing you for this moment, where your rising becomes a signal fire that others can see from afar. You are not only a survivor, you are a torchbearer. The light of your life is meant to guide those stumbling in the dark. Like a lighthouse standing against the crashing waves, your testimony will shine steady, unmoved by the storm, helping others find their way home. Your rising will not just lift you, it will lift many. As it is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11, they triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Notice this, beloved, victory is not only sealed by the cross, but also by the story you tell. Your voice matters. Your testimony is a weapon, and when you share it, it becomes a sword that pierces despair and awakens hope in others. Chosen one, think of your story as a tree. Its roots are deep in seasons of struggle, its trunk thick with endurance, and its branches stretch wide to provide shelter for others. Birds will come to rest in its shade. Weary travelers will stop to refresh themselves under its covering. Your life will offer rest to those who thought they could not go on. That is the beauty of testimony. It multiplies healing far beyond the one who lived it. But hear me, even a tree needs care. It needs water, sunlight, and a healthy environment to keep growing strong. In the same way, for your testimony to keep reaching others, it requires nourishment. This is why I gently ask you, if these words have been water to your soul, do not let the flow stop with you. Share them, like passing fruit from the tree to another's hand. So the message grows stronger in reach. Subscribe, so you remain planted in the flow of encouragement. And if your heart feels stirred, sow into this mission with a donation not as a duty, but as a way of pouring water back into the well that feeds you. Think of it this way: every time you support, you are helping build a bridge for someone else to cross. Every time you give, you are placing another stone on the path for the lost to find their way home. Your generosity is not just currency, it is seed. and the fruit it bears will ripple across lives you may never meet. Beloved, do not underestimate what your small act can do. A single candle passed from hand to hand can light an entire room. A single ripple can turn into a wave that reshapes a whole shore. In the same way, your like, your share, your gift may feel small to you, but it becomes multiplied when placed in heaven's hands. And let me also invite you into reflection. Leave a comment here, not just as words on a screen, but as a stone laid into the altar of testimony. Write what you have survived. Write what you are believing for. Write your yes to heaven, for your words may be the very encouragement someone else scrolling by needs to read. You never know whose life may change because you chose to speak. Chosen one. Remember that testimony is not only about your past, it is about your future. Every miracle you step into tomorrow will add another chapter. Every breakthrough will become another verse in your song. Every deliverance will become another flame in your fire. And together, your life will burn like a torch that can be seen from miles away. The enemy trembled when you suffered, but he trembles even more when you rise, because your rising is contagious. Your freedom gives courage. Your victory multiplies victory. And this is why your story must be told. It is not yours alone. It belongs to the countless others who will draw strength from it. Beloved, let this settle deep within you. You are not insignificant. You are a living testimony. You are proof that darkness does not win. You are evidence that waiting is not wasted. You are the sound of chains breaking, the sight of dawn rising, the echo of heaven's promise fulfilled. And now, the world will see it too. So, lift your head high. Chosen one, wear your crown without fear. Share your story with boldness. And let your rising be the lighthouse that calls many home. For the time of the chosen has come, and your testimony is the spark that will ignite flames in countless others. Chosen one, you stand at the edge of what you have been waiting for. The tomorrow moment is not an idea, not a metaphor, but a reality pressing against your life right now. For years you have spoken of one day, but heaven has turned the page and written a new phrase over your destiny. This day. The shift is not approaching, it has arrived. You may not feel it in every detail yet, but the atmosphere around you knows it. Like the stillness before a sunrise, creation itself holds its breath. The long night is over, the horizon glows, and your spirit can sense the warmth of the new light stretching toward you. This is the moment heaven reserved for you. The moment where sorrow gives way to song, where delay gives way to fulfillment, where prayers held in waiting finally find their answer. Chosen one. Tomorrow is not just about circumstances changing, it is about identity being revealed. You will no longer call yourself forgotten, for heaven calls you beloved. You will no longer call yourself broken, for heaven names you healed. You will no longer call yourself delayed, for heaven declares you accelerated. The labels of the past are being stripped away, replaced with the truth of who you are in the eyes of God. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm, plans to give you hope and a future. These are not shallow words meant to soothe. They are the architecture of your destiny. Every detail of your journey has been building toward this appointed moment. Beloved, your tomorrow moment will not look like the gradual unfolding you have grown used to. It will come suddenly, like a door swinging wide when you least expect it. One conversation, one encounter, one decision can shift everything. Just as Joseph moved from prison to palace in a single day, so too will your tomorrow rewrite your entire story. This is why the warfare was so intense before now, because the enemy knew the hour of unveiling was near. He threw distractions, discouragements, and doubts at you in hopes you would give up before the dawn. But you did not. Even if you stumbled, even if you crawled, you did not quit. And that is why you stand here now, on the edge of the sunrise. Do not think tomorrow's moment will only touch your outer life. It will also transform your inner world. The fear that once governed your choices will dissolve. The shame that once weighed on your shoulders will lift. The confusion that clouded your path will clear. You will see yourself with heaven's eyes. And that vision will empower you to step boldly where once you hesitated. Chosen one. Your tomorrow is also for others. When light dawns on you, it will spill over into the lives around you. Family members, friends, even strangers will sense something has shifted. Some will be drawn to the brightness, finding courage in your rising. Others may feel unsettled, for your light exposes what they prefer to keep hidden. But do not fear this. The purpose of light is not to please everyone, it is to shine regardless. Think of dawn itself. It does not ask permission to rise. It does not consult the darkness before breaking forth. It simply appears, and with it, the night has no choice but to retreat. So it will be with you, beloved. Your tomorrow moment will rise, and no shadow will be able to argue with it. Let your heart be at rest now. Do not strive to make the moment happen by your own strength. Just as you cannot pull the sun above the horizon, you cannot force tomorrow's miracle. It comes in its appointed hour, and that hour is here. Your role is to be ready to lift your head, to open your heart, to receive what has been preserved for you. Chosen one. Tomorrow, you will step across a threshold that cannot be reversed. Once the door opens, it will not close again. Once the sunrise comes, the night cannot return. This is the promise of God, that when He begins a good work in you, He will bring it to completion. You are not standing at the edge of disappointment, but at the edge of fulfillment. So breathe deeply. The air of a new season is already filling your lungs. Look to the horizon. The first rays of light are breaking through. The tomorrow moment you longed for has come, and with it, the assurance that you were chosen not just to survive, but to shine. Chosen one. You have reached the place where destiny and promise collide. The long road, the weary nights, the unseen battles, the silent tears, all of them have brought you here, to this moment where you step fully into the identity that was written over you since the beginning of time. You are no longer in waiting. You are no longer in preparation. You are stepping into fullness. You are crowned forevermore. The crown is not only a symbol of glory, it is a seal of victory. It speaks of battles fought and won, of endurance proven, of faith preserved even when hope seemed impossible. You did not receive it cheaply. Every scar, every sacrifice, every valley carved the shape of this crown upon your head. And now, you wear it as proof, not that life was easy, but that you were faithful, and more importantly, that God was faithful to you. The Word of God declares in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing. This is the inheritance of the chosen, crowns that do not fade, rewards that cannot be stolen, glory that endures beyond the span of time. Chosen one. Your crown is more than a prize, it is a calling. To wear it means to walk with authority, to live with purpose, to shine as a beacon for those who are still searching. Your crown does not make you untouchable, it makes you responsible. It is a mantle that reminds you daily, you are chosen, and therefore you must live as one set apart. Think of a torchbearer in a great relay. The fire in their hand is not theirs to keep, it is theirs to carry. The crown upon your life is the same. It shines not only for your sake, but for all those who will find courage in your light. When you rise, others will rise. When you stand, others will find strength to stand. Your victory is multiplied as it becomes the seed for victories yet to come. Beloved, this crown also means that nothing you endured was wasted. Every disappointment became a jewel. Every trial became a gold thread. Every loss became a hidden strength. What the enemy meant to destroy you has become the very material of your glory. That is why you shine now, not in spite of your past, but because of it. Your crown is proof that ashes can become beauty, that mourning can turn into dancing, that despair can give birth to hope. You may have once wondered if you would ever rise, but now you stand tall. You may have doubted if you were worthy, but heaven has answered that question with a crown. You may have felt forgotten, but the weight of glory on your head whispers, you were remembered all along. Lo, chosen one, carry this crown with humility. It is not an ornament, it is a declaration. When you walk, walk with grace. When you speak, speak with wisdom. When you lead, lead with compassion. For the crown upon your life is not for vanity, it is for impact, and do not fear losing it. This is not a crown made by human hands that can tarnish or be stolen. This is a crown forged in eternity, sealed by divine decree, guarded by angels, and secured by the blood of the Lamb. No thief can snatch it. No storm can damage it. No failure can erase it. You are crowned forevermore. Beloved, as you wear this crown, remember that tomorrow is no longer a distant hope. It is your present reality. The dawn you longed for has broken. The miracle you waited for has arrived. The shift you prayed for is now. You are walking into the fullness of being chosen, and nothing can stand against you. This crown is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a greater one. For now, you rise not as one waiting, but as one reigning. You carry authority. You carry destiny. You carry light. The earth itself will respond to your presence, because it recognizes the mark of heaven upon you. Chosen one, lift your head. You are crowned. Walk boldly. Shine brightly. Live fully. For the rest of your days will not be defined by striving, but by reigning. Not by searching, but by finding. Not by wandering, but by walking in destiny. You are crowned forevermore, and nothing in heaven or earth can change it. Chosen one, as we reach the close of this journey, let these words echo in your heart. You are not ordinary. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are marked, preserved, and released into destiny. Every valley was preparation. Every delay was protection. Every battle was prophecy. And now, you rise crowned, unstoppable, unshakable, unbreakable. Your tomorrow has become today. What once seemed distant has arrived early. The miracle you thought would never come is now resting in your hands. The season of wandering is over. The hour of unveiling has begun, and the fullness of your calling is here. Carry this truth with you. Your life is not small. You are a lighthouse for the lost, a torch for the weary, a voice for the voiceless. The crown upon your head is not just honor, it is mission. And as you walk forward, heaven walks with you. Beloved, do not let this fire fade. Guard it, nurture it, and shine it boldly. You are chosen for such a time as this. And the earth is waiting for the light only you can bring. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, step forward with faith. The story of your destiny is only beginning. The crown is yours forevermore.